Hey there, Heather, hello there, Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to Super Saturday in the NCAA Super Tourney. We've got through 128 teams, 128 well, one per team, one per school, and now we're down to 16 schools. If you look at the board, you see probably more than likely, if I'm to be honest, I say about nine of these 16 teams you can kind of guess would get in, and 7 schools don't. We do have some interesting battles. We do have a battle of tech. We do have a battle of the Mountain West Conference, if you will. We do have 2 gigantic battle of giants, including one with the top 2 point getters. By stats, they are the top 2 in points. They'll face each other off. We do have some nice guys. We do have heavy rain in one game and drizzle in the other. So let's take a look. You have the 1998 Air Force squad, shocking a lot of people because the Air Force is not really a good school for football. And you have BYU, the 1984 team, the team that some call the fake national champions because, yes, they were undefeated, but they played in the Western Athletic Conference, and when conference tie-ins to bowls were massive, they played in the Holiday Bowl instead of the big New Year's Day bowls, which would have given them more national prominence. You have 99 Fod Tech, who lost the College Football National Championship to, I would say Florida State, but I'm probably wrong. But Fod Tech doing it with the great Michael Vick. They take on Georgia Tech. This will be an ACC battle as the 90 Georgia Tech squad were co-national champs alongside Miami, I think it was. Can't remember. Wasn't Washington. That was 91. Anyway, you have Clemson, that 81 squad. Yeah, I know you'd be thinking, what about the squads in the 2010s? Well, I don't have those seasons. I'll have to generate the master seasons, I guess. But yeah, you have the 1981 Clemson Tigers, the first national championship team before they were back in prominence in the 2010s. And they take on James Madison, who has been a massive Cinderella. I mean, you don't think James Madison is worthy of winning games, but they did. The fourth matchup sees the top 2 point getters, and I'm not kidding. When you click on Syracuse and Nebraska, look at this. Syracuse, second best in points. Nebraska, their opponents are number 1 in points. So you have 1 versus 2 in points in Nebraska. That should be interesting. The 59 Syracuse squad, the team that did not have Jim Brown, that was a different Syracuse squad, but they had Ernie the Express Davis. They had a great team. They were the national champs that year. They take on the 95 Nebraska Cornhuskers, the second of their back-to-back championship teams. This one was better than the 84 team. Well, the 84 team did lose the national championship to Miami. Well, 83-84. I know that I say a year and I say it in a different tone. But yeah, the 95 Nebraska squad, great quarterbacking, great running from Tommy Frazier and a few other running backs. Yeah. 2011 Oklahoma State with Brandon Weeden, the world's oldest rookie in the NFL, I guess. They take on 2002 Ohio State, the team that won national championship thanks to that pass interference call against Miami, which ruined Miami's chances of being a dynasty. You have the 1966 Wyoming squad, the Route 66 team. I know I could have put Josh Allen on there, but didn't. And the 56 Oklahoma squad, in the midst of one of the greatest winning streaks, if not the greatest winning streak in college football history. 47 straight wins for Oklahoma between 1953 and 1957. The streak started with a loss to Notre Dame and ended with a loss to Notre Dame. You have the 2010 Nevada squad with Colin Kaepernick at the helm, taking on another black quarterback. Texas's Vince Young, and the 05 squad that were ranked number 2 headed to the Rose Bowl against USC in one of the greatest Rose Bowls of all time, one of the greatest college football bowl games of all time. And they beat USC in a stunner. You got 58 LSU with Billy Cannon's not Heisman Trophy, but yeah, they were national champs, and 39 Texas A&M national champs as well. So you have a battle of the SEC in a sense. So you have yourself 3 inter-conference matchups, you can call it that. So we are going to be watching the Nebraska and A&M game last. Those 2 are off. So the other 6 matchups will be held, and we will be going from east to west. So if my geography is correct, I think we go to Georgia at first. Yes, we do. We're gonna see the Battle of Tech first. First Tech. By Tech took down Aeronautics in 04 Bears. The 69. Aztecs in 2006 reinforced for GT. 1876 Iowa State. 98 Tulane. And they get 97 Colorado State. So they actually really good range from Colorado State. Balls at 38, Michael Pitt at pivot. Tron Stiff and Colin Hawkins are your backs to start. Remember, they are interchangeable. Andre Davis, Ricky Hall, and Bob Gronkowski are your team receivers. Dave Cadella, Josh Redding, Short, Matt Marr, and Anthony Lambo are your offensive line. For G-Tac. Jeremy McCleary, Kevin Battle, and Tony Rudolph. Terrell Williams, future CFL icon Calvin Tago, Mark Coleman, and Marlon Williams. Linebackers Willie Clay, Thomas, Bogcom, Ken Swilling, and Keith Holmes are your DBs. Here we go.
First down. First down. Timeout, defense. Offense. Daryl Jenkins, Jim Latham, Billy Chubbs, Joe Sickfried, Mike Mooney, your offensive line. Eli for the Bobcat. Corey Ward, Carl Bradley, Nate Williams, and John Engelberger, future Charger. Ben Taylor, Joel Smith, Michael Hawks. Your linebackers, Mike Charlton, Nick Sorensen, Corey Bird, and Anthony Midget. Oh, what a name. Defensive back. 2 years ago. Flag on the play. Illegal use of hands. Offense.
Brutal. If GT fails, then the field is over. 40 yards out.
Good. First down.
First down pick.
Offense. It's good. Live on. Holding. Offense.
Well, that's a pick. That's a pick. We'll be headed to the quarterfinals in my guess. Yards rushing that touchdown. I don't know if he should be named credit. John Mills 10 for 19 with 62 touchdown receiving. Vic 5 for 10 with 3 a touchdown and a pick. So yeah, I think it's kind of 50-50. And Calvin Johnson final. Contact wins, and they're going to the quarterfinals. Now, we do have to say something. The quarterfinals will be held on New Year's Day, so there will be no college football next Saturday, which will be weird because be the first time since August we won't have it. But I'll figure something out to pass the time. So yeah, we're gonna head to James Madison now and see if Clemson can ruin the Cinderella. Clemson took out 81 SMU, their fellow 45. He took out 81 kids, narrowly. They took out Wisconsin. Madison Red Favre and something else. Cole Brennan and he was coming. Where's the 1980 Georgia Bulldogs? Actually knocked out. Yeah, they knocked out great names. Red Favre, Cole Brennan, and Buck Belue. Alright, so James Madison starts at Bridgeport at the 16. Now the fans are just piling in. Tickets were sold quickly, about 45 minutes at James Madison. I think it was the fastest ticket. Anyway, they're hosting, of course, the quarters, semis, and finals are all going to be at bowl stadiums. So there will be, that's it for bowl stadiums. Okay. Anyway, regardless, we have James Madison starting with Justin Muscadia at pivot, Raymond Hines and Chris Ariel running backs, D.D. Boxley, Nick Tolley, Tom Worthy, receivers, offensive line, Jamal Crowder, Vertical, Miles Steinfeld, Joris Burns, not that Joris Burns, and Corey Davis, offensive line. Clemson's team line is Michael D. Perry, future Redskin? I think he was on the Browns. Anyway, Dan Medish, no, future Browns, excuse me. Jeff Bryant and Bill Smith, Jeff Davis, Danny Triplett, and Randberg. Linebackers, Oz Hall, Tim Childers, Dave Kennard, and Anthony Rose. That's Max. Here we go.
good.
Here's Madison.
Timeout offense. Flag on the play. Pass interference. Defense.
Well, they're going to go for 3 now.
That's good. Flag on the play. False start. Offense. No good.
Nobody thought they would be playing Cool Granny, and nobody thought they could beat the 1980 Georgia Bulldogs with Herschel Walker. They did. On to the quarterfinals. There's Madison did what they could. And they got to the Sweet 16. Many schools like Michigan and Rutgers got to the Sweet 16. Scotty took 22 and 19, 93 picks. Watson, 7 for 134, 2 touchdowns, fighting through 3 interceptions. If anything, Bruce Madison did this good job. Anklet and Tuttle with touchdowns. I feel bad for James Madison, but in the end, Clemson was on top, so they're going to the quarters. Now, the matchups are going to be randomized. Like, the computer will randomize the quarterfinal matchups. All right, so now we have 2. Wait, Oklahoma's eastern than Ohio, right? Or Texas. Okay, Texas, Ohio, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's off Texas. Ohio, right? Yes. Okay, yeah. So Ohio State will be hosting the next game against Oklahoma State. That will be number 2. State is favored by 7, though. They took out Buffalo, took out Tennessee, Maryland, and won the games here by 2. And they beat 91 Washington, Maryland. Chance. Ohio State took out OSU state rivalry. They took out Alex Smith and Norfolk East, and they took out 48 Commodores. OSU starts at the so I think that Eddie George running for the Legislative and Randy Jones to start, then Michael James, Chris Campbell, and Ben Kurtzoff are your receivers. Ivan Douglas, Adrian Clark, Alex Emanovich, Bryce Bishop, and Jake Louis are your offensive line. OK State brings Jamie Black, David Nigel Nicholas, Anthony Rogers, Rashadi Jones D-line. Linebackers Alex Elkin, Caleb Levy, and Sean Lewis. Your DBs Justin Gilbert, Dayton Lowe, Markel Martin, and Brother Brown. 3 yards to George. 5 yards.
Flag on the play. Flagrant face mask. Defense. First down.
Justin Blackman, Josh Cooper, over any of your wide receiver. Wilson Newman at receiver, a tight end. Gary Adcock, Nick Martinez, Gary Harlow, Ian Taylor. For OSU, out of the OSUs actually. Will Smith, not that one. Tim Anderson, not the baseball player. Kane Peterson, and Xavier Scott. Linebackers and Paxton Moyer. Fighting for the Legislative Matt Mullen, Steve Brent. Chris Gamble, Mike Goss, Jack Tatum, Brendan Blue, Leonard Freeman, and Dustin Fox. At the backfield.
First down. First down. Flag on the play. Pass interference. Defense.
The extra point was good.
First down.
First down for it. I guess they're going to run the clock down. It is. Brandon Beeman proves the verdict wrong with a 435-yard day in Ohio against the Buckeyes and 2 touchdowns. As for OSU, Cranston 9 for 21. Flair did get the 100-yard rate. Whedon 39 for 54, 435, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Blackman 110 receiving. Cooper got 96. It's close. Whedon to Blackman for 62 yards. That was huge. And then they just Claret and Randall. So yeah, Randall ran for 3 touchdowns. And OK State puts down Ohio State. So the Cowboys did it. Ohio State can't believe it. And for the 3rd straight game, the home team loses. But now we're going to head to Okiemuskogee. As Oklahoma will take on Wyoming. We're going to put that game next. Wyoming took out Boston College Eagles, took down UMass, took down Toledo. So a couple of really classic for this game. Oklahoma took down 07 Illinois, with 6 wins, and Oklahoma without giving up those 50 points. Wyoming's at the 30. Josh Allen, the pivot, Jim Kick. I believe he was part of the 66-point squad without me adding him. Tom Williams will run the ball to start. Jerry Marion, Buffett, several years ago. Michael Hood, Dave Rupp, Mel Wagstaff, Mel Hamilton, and Glenn Fiber. Don Stiller, Henry Gray, Tom Emerson, and John Bell. Your linebackers, Billy Pricer, Kenny Lehman, running for the legislative Jerry Tubbs, Tommy McDonald, Jimmy Harris, Baker Mayfield, Bo Sims, defensive backs. Most players have played both offense and defense pretty much before 1960.
Kicking team.
Oh, that hurt. 23-yard line. Jimmy Harris pivot. I think they rotate quarterback. Billy Sims and Billy brought into the legend team. Billy Pricer and Willie Von Schalman. Now, Von Schalman was brought in with the kicker, but I guess he was a running back too. Hollywood Brown and Keith Jackson are your receivers. Offensive line, Edmund Gray, Kenny Lehman, Jared Tubbs, Bill Kitchener, Tom Emerson, as I said, players from Wyoming. Tom Frazier, not the Nebraska quarterback. Ron Billingsley, Michael Burks, and Tim Gladberg. Linebackers, Tom Grenett, Bob Hayward, Thompson, Vic Washington, the future Ottawa Rough Rider, Ed Froelich, Jim Stankins, and Dick Sprites.
That kick is no good.
Yes, sir. Opportunity. Right side. First person trip goes to. Gets the ball. Bill Sims with a touchdown. I mean, didn't really have much of fun. But Allen 1 for 16. Ouch. He threw 2 interceptions. Shelton 1 for 9, 14 yards and an interception. Yikes. 2 for 25. That's how poor Young is. At least he got a touchdown. And it was Josh Allen from 51 yards running the ball. Touchdown Tommy had a pick 6. He had a touchdown running and a touchdown through interception. So yeah, he did 2 touchdowns by himself. But give Wyoming credit, they scored 10 points. I mean, James Madison only scored 3. All right, we're going to head to Texas, then to Brigham Young. That's our thing. So Nevada, Texas is next on the list. Nevada has Texas win by 19. Oh, Nevada beat Middle Tennessee, beat Fresno, Texas to win by Miami. Michigan, that was a tough one. And then they took out 16 Penn State. That guy. And Pivot, Aaron Motley running for the legislative to run. Rashard Matthews running Newbury and Patterson for receivers. Virgil Boone tight end. For Nevada, Jose Acuna, J.K. Chris Parker, Jeff Reeves, John Anderson. Texas, Ken Sims running for the legislative with Barbara Wright. Steve McMichael also from the legislative with Brian Robertson. Linebackers, Aaron Harris, Ron Rico, Chip Babino, Terrell Brown, Michael Griffin, Michael Puff, and Cedric Griffin for the DBs.
Live on the play. Flagrant face mask. Defense. First down.
Isaiah Frank, Marlon Johnson, and Hugh Williams for QBs. Second and 5. Third and 5.
First down.
First down, Hollis.
First down. First down. First down.
Keeps it for 7.
First down.
Texas Heavy Rizzo.
Timeout offense.
Texas is 12. Texas lead. Boy, Texas 49-14. They got the luck of the draw. And he ran for 141 on the ground. Yikes. The second best runner was Charles with 44 yards. Man, Vince Young was elusive. 15 for 25, 2 for 23 touchdowns. Lane, who one pass for 11 yards to Taylor. Kaepernick, 39, Wade, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, right, picks. Murray Motley, 164 on the ground. So he outdid Vince Young, but they still lost the game. Yeah, they still lost the game. Holy smokes. Vince had an 87-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. How the hell do you have an 87-yard touchdown? Poor Nevada. Poor Kaepernick. At least he got to the Sweet 16. But Texas crushed them in the fine powder. So practically, yeah, I say it's 5. Well, sorry, Oklahoma State, I think that's an upset. Ohio State had to have had it. All right, we're headed out west. We're going to Utah as Air Force. Air Force. Well, BYU fans by Force. Air Force. What's that score this year? Well, they beat 6-6 Bob Creasy. They beat 09 Central Michigan and they beat 45 Indiana. The last team to beat Big Ten champs outright until this is 45. Well, Brigham Young, they took out Simeon Temple and a basketball team come back. 61 Bama. They beat Alabama. That's a shocker. And then they beat Rutgers with 3 breaks. 8-2. Bobby Bosco at pivot. Steve Young and Jim McMahon. Oh, they were at the time. Young. Okay, Mamuli and Robert Parker run the ball. Mike Kozlowski and Haysburg and Ray Wills who try to run patterns as receivers. Louis Long, Craig Garrett, Trevor Maddox, Robert Anai, and David Wright in their own line. That for us, streaming like Chad Haynes, Bryce Fisher, and Tim Thomas. Greg Forsterson, CJ Sonati, Travis Manager, and Mike Tyler for your linebackers. Tim Curry, Rob Dacker, Jason Sanderson, Charlton Warren, and Tony Miller.
Live on the play.
Encroachment. Defense. First down.
First down by Santa.
First down.
Live on the play.
False start. Offense.
Turn 6.
First down.
Lane Morgan at pivot. Spanky Gilliam, Paul Singleton, Scott McCabe run the ball. Matt Parker, technical calls. James Gorman, Frank Andra, Matt Dea, Eric Goodwin, Mike Robinson, Ryan Levi Houston, Ryan Hamilton, Ken Smith, and Jim
White, Mar Valley, Kirk Goveyev, Future Redskin, and Kerry Willingham. Linebackers, Mar Valley, St. Heyman, Kyle Morrell, Josh Pelzer.
First down. First down. First down. First down.
Turn time. Redson time. Taylor, be ready first. Redson. BYU.
Flag on the play.
Illegal use of hands. Offense. Timeout, offense.
Air Force is tied her up.
Touchdown.
Good job. Mike Tyler, pick six. Air Force is
The extra point is good.
No, what's going on? That's it. Air Force and Air
Flag
Force.
on the play.
False start, offense.
It's good. Flag on the play.
Personal foul. Defense.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense.
Good.
I'm a 2. 34 and 59. Gotta put you in the hand, guy. This game is over. Air Force pushing it. 51-14. Unreal. Kale Bonds will take the lead. What the shot? It is a shot. A giant shot. Air Force wins 51-14. Who saw that coming? David Adams is the MVP. Come on, there has to be someone better than that. Well, 7 turnovers doesn't happen. Passing, Bosco, 20 for 31, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. LT every time. Judy Mansford, only pass was a 4 in pick. Oregon, 5 for 7, 26 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He even had 5 completions, 26 yards. He threw the short ones. And he ran for 97. He almost got 100 yards. Bosco, yeah, BYU was up 14-zip, and it looked like that was going to be an easy peasy quarterfinal spot. But no. Tyler picked 6 to make it 21-14. Adams field goal. And Smay had a pick 6. So 2 pick 6s by Air Force. And they're an unlikely quarterfinalist. Wow. When you look at Air Force's resume, I mean, you got to look at it this way. I think the best school is they beat Bob Greasy and then beat a couple of cream puffs, you would think, and then BYU. So they haven't really had much of a say. But now they could be facing Clemson. They could be facing Tech. They could be facing OK State. They could be facing Oklahoma or Texas. So Air Force has to be very cautious. They could face a very good team. I mean, they could avoid Clemson, Oklahoma, and Texas. I know Nebraska, Syracuse, LSU, and A&M are next on the docket. So we will go next to Texas as 39 A&M takes on. Johnny Football is the pivot. A&M picked him up from the Legends League. John David Crow, also from the Legends League, has been picked. Boyle, Bill Connoisseur, and Chip Kimball. Oh, Herbie Surfing, Park Howley Road. Receive. Reed Pennell, Marshall Robnet, Tommy Fine, Charlie Heath, and Joe Boyd, defensive line. D-line, Billy Hendricks, the leader of Bo Strange, died off the coast of the Atlantic after being Bell's coach, and Mickey Mayhem. Linebackers, J.W. Brando, Max Cooper, and Kevin Falk, Billy Cannon, Warren Robb, Gerald Matthew, and Johnny Robinson. Yes. course, as I said, most teams from the 1960s played both offense and defense. You know. Johnny Robinson, J.W. Brenda will run the ball, Mickey Manning, Morning will try to receive the ball. In the block, Larry Carlton, Max Kugler, and McCready, Bo Stranger offensive line. A&M's D-line free stick, Marshall Robinette. Three penalty, Jim Sterling. John David Crow, Tommy Fine, and Brock Oddish. The linebackers, Mary Pellett, Darius Wilson, Duncan Waller, Marlon Jeffrey under DBs.
Good.
We ran out for candy. That's the honey badger. Red zone LSU. 10-2. What a weird name. Ends at 10-2.
It's good.
First down.
Flag on the play.
Intentional grounding. Offense. Loss of down.
LSU almost had pick six to put it in A&M's stocking. Referee Rob 5 for 15 combined. Referee couldn't pass the ball. Referee grabbed it. 181 on the ground by Billy Cannon. He didn't get the touchdown. The Honey Badger did. Gardner was attacking the end zone for safety. For Aiden Falk. And then Kevin Falk with 3 field goals. Amazing. 16-2. I want to see how good LSU's defense is. In a sense. How many points they've given up? 8 points. They've only given up 8 points in 4 games. Wow. What defense from these guys. 0 against App State. Oh, did I not? Oh, yeah, because of... I had to go quickly because of the copyright music. So, 58 LSU took on 07 Appalachian State. You know, the team that beat Michigan in week 1 and beat them 10-0. They took on 60 Ole Miss with Jake Gibbs and beat them 9-3. And then 9-3 Arizona with the Desert Storm defense. They beat them 20-3. And A&M with their defense, they won 16-2. So, like, unreal. They have only given up 8 points. They have not given up a touchdown in 4 games. 2 field goals and a safety. A&M. I guess we should kind of... Well, they beat 83 Miami. You know, the team that beat Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, 14-0. They beat 96 Arizona State, 17-6. They took down Jake the Snake Plummer. And then Kansas, you know, the Wonder team, they won 35-3. So they actually had only given up 9 points in 3 games. They didn't give up a touchdown either. But LSU scored a touchdown. Only 1 touchdown, though. And 8th and final game is Syracuse, Nebraska. The top 2 point getters by offense. We were predicting 70 points combined. Nebraska, Syracuse took down Party. Everyone thought was going to 37. And they beat Andrew Luck and Stanford 47-1. And then they beat Oregon, another top 10 team, 50-25. Nebraska took down Onion Act, 50-6. And going Texas Tech was up like 14 at one point, but they won 73-28. And then they beat New Mexico State 49-17. Running from the Legends League to be Pivot. Gershons, Art Baker, and Dick Reimer running the ball. Marvin Harrison, also from the Legends League, and Tom Gilbert are your receivers. Offensive line, Bob Yates, Bruce Tarbucks, Albert Miller, Roger Davis, and Maury Yeomans. Baskets D-line, Jared Tomich, the Peter Brothers, Christian and Jason, Grant Listrom, future man, Jay Foreman, Terrell Farley, and Trev Alberts, great player. Linebacker, Michael Booker, Mike Winter, Tony Whelan, and Tyron Williams are your DBs. This play is to Church, 8 yards.
First down.
First down, right.
Flag on the play.
Flag.
Encroachment. Defense.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense.
He who shall not be named that running back because of his crimes off the field of Joe Macovia. Run the ball, Reggie Ball, Brandon Holby, Jalen Jackson. Chris Dishman, Steve Watts, not the hockey player, Aaron Taylor, Eric Anderson, Syracuse, Marvin Harrison, Bob Yates, Bruce Tarbucks. Rafkowski was 2 good players. Art Baker, Art Miller, and Roger Davis. Brittany Davis, Donovan Darius, Gino Brown, and Garrett Charles.
First down.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense. good.
As well. Nebraska. 37. Still 3-0. These teams are designed by defense. They'll have to go from the 3 points from the ground time.
It's no good.
0 for 3 today. Just can't make it. Nebraska. They'll probably be going for 4th down a lot more often. Checkers in red zone.
The extra point is good. First down.
First down, 70. Under 2 minutes.
Timeout, defense.
Flag on the play.
Encroachment. Defense.
That's going to go to Nebraska. They played 32. Why? I'm surprised they were running.
First down.
First down early.
Timeout, defense.
ASET match, and Syracuse comes into Nebraska and shocks the Huskers, and will get to the quarterfinals somehow. And 30 points in this game. They're not lifting the hype of the scoring. They both, remember, they have to play defense. Marvin Harrison is the MVP, as they call it. Frazier 5 for 23, 65 yards, 2 picks. Winning attack didn't work out so well. Passing by Committee Will, McNabb 6 for 11, 131 and pick, a touchdown. Result field goes. Farley had a pick 6. Nebraska thought they were going to win the game on the pick 6. And then Grabowski for Syracuse with a block punt return. And then McNabb to Harrison. So 30 points. Only 30 points. Well, Chris Brown was 2 for 5 for the field goals. Yeah, all 3 field goals. 2 of the 3 field goals. They would have won the game, but Chris Brown was 2 for 5. Was 1 for 3 on field goals. Yeah, but so yeah, not a good time to be a home team. 6 of the 8 home teams lost. Only Oklahoma and Texas won. So let's check everything up again. Air Force crushing BYU down 14-0. They scored 51 unanswered. I mean, Syracuse scored. Yeah, Syracuse scored 17 points. Fortunately, that's not. Well, they tied Virginia Tech. They scored 17 and won. LSU only scored 16 in their win. So yeah, Air Force won 51-14. A shocker. The field goal kicker was named MVP. 99.5 Tech with Michael Fick goes to Georgia Tech and wins 17-10. Stiff, the MVP. Should be Michael Fick. 81 Clemson went to James Madison and beat the Cinderella team 21-3. Nebraska losing 17-13 to Syracuse. The fourth quarter comeback by the Qs in a game that everyone thought was going to be up to 70 points. Oklahoma State crushed Ohio State 44-17. Brandon Weeden doing his job. Man, that's an upset. Oklahoma winning 27-10. Tommy McDowell doing everything by himself. He could pass, he could run, he could catch passes, and have a great defense. Texas winning 49-14 thanks to Vince Young's 3 touchdowns, 251 yards, doing everything, and ran for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. LSU's defense crushing A&M's defense 16-2. So we're going to take a look at the summary. Vince Young was named the overall MVP for his running and passing. Brandon Weeden, the only passer for 300 yards. 400-yard rushers, Billy Kidd, 181. Max Fluger of the 58 LSU team, the defense player of the week. Forstenson and Farley with a pair of interceptions. And David Adams of Air Force named player of the week. Brandon Weeden, 1,400 passing yards. He is leaps and bounds #1 in passing, and he's in the quarterfinals. Rushing, Vince Young, 459. Doing his job. 5 sacks by Simon Frazier and Marco Coleman. They're both out. Points-wise, Justin Blackman with 54. Chris Brown, 45 points as a kicker. He would have had 2 field goals. He'd probably been close to Blackman. So that's the now quarterfinal drop booth. And we get some interesting games. All right, so the 4 quarterfinal games. LSU, with their great defense, will go to Air Force. Will face Air Force. So, yeah, Air Force would be like, we're hosting in Colorado, aren't we? You're actually not. Nope. They are putting the 4 matchups in different bowl stadiums. And I don't think the Rose Bowl is going to get, no, the Rose Bowl won't get any of the quarterfinals. That's actually good. So by my guess, it's going to be Holiday, Cotton. Holiday, Cotton, Clemson would be in the orange, right? Yep. Orange and Fiesta? Yeah, Fiesta. All right, so Holiday, Cotton, Orange, Fiesta. So you got Rose, got Sugar, let's see, Orange, Cotton, and Fiesta. You got Rose and Sugar. You got to figure out, and Capital One. So the Holiday Bowl will host Air Force because of their being. Okay, so on New Year's Day, it will be at the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. I think they say H for Holiday Bowl, right? There it is, Holiday Bowl. On New Year's Day at Qualcomm, Oklahoma Clemson will be at the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. There it is, the Orange Bowl. At the old Orange Bowl. We're going to put that at the old Orange Bowl. At the old Orange Bowl Stadium. Syracuse, Oklahoma State will be at the Fiesta Bowl. Hey. In Phoenix. So, yeah, at Phoenix, the University of Phoenix Stadium. We're not going to have the weather affect it. And Virginia Tech, Texas will be at the Cotton Bowl because of the Texas will be the Cotton Bowl. Wait, do we put it at the Dome or do you? I think you have to put it at the ancestral home. Yeah, at the bigger one. Yeah, it'll be at AT&T Stadium. Yeah, you got to put it at the you got to put it at the second stadium actually. Yeah, you have to put it at the current stadium. Okay, Dolphin Stadium. Sure. All right, so Syracuse, Oklahoma State at the University of Phoenix Stadium, Virginia Tech, Texas at AT&T, LSU Air Force at Qualcomm, and Oklahoma Clemson at Dolphin Stadium. So that's going to be it. 2 games in the elements, 2 not so. So the quarterfinals. Well, I guess we got to go by east to west, right? Yeah. So Oklahoma Clemson. We're gonna go. No, we're gonna go west to east. We're gonna go LSU Air Force first, then Syracuse Oklahoma State, then Tech Texas, then Oklahoma Clemson. So that's gonna be the order of operations. Oklahoma Clemson will close it out. Air Force LSU will start off, and all that. So let's take a look at the 8 teams in a sense. Syracuse offense, they're 4th in points, 8th in total yards, 14th in passing, 8th in rushing. They've given up 76 points. They've given up double-digit points. Nebraska was the closest game for an OK State. 3rd in points, 146. Oh, they have more points than Syracuse. 44-17. But yeah, they jumped up. 3rd in points, 146. 3rd in total yards, best passing attack by Whedon, and 46th in rushing. They've given up 95 points. Well, they've had 2 very tight games. Tech, 6th in points, 7 in total yards, 5th in passing, which is weird, and 12th in running. They have given up 72 points, and they've had a couple of close shaves. Texas won't be easy. 2nd most in points, 175. Most yards, 2nd in passing, 3rd in rushing. So Michael Vick has his work cut out for him. 83 points given up by Texas. They've had 1 close one, and that was Michigan. LSU, 58 squad, 37 points, 55. People have scored 55 points in 4 games. That's actually quite low. 17th in total yards, 62nd in passing, but they can run the ball. They pass out of necessity. Yeah, they've only given up 8 points, 2 field goals, and a safety. So Air Force is going to be a little worried about it. Air Force, 5th in points, 13th in total yards, 49th in passing yards, and 6th in rushing. Well, they're 51 points, puts them 5th in points. Nice. They, of course, pass out of necessity. So it's basically a run attack game. They had a close one against Central Michigan, which is saying a lot. And then Oklahoma Clemson. Oklahoma, 11th in points, 5th in total yards, 29th in passing, 2nd best running attack. So they could run the ball. They've given up only 27 points. 50 points. So yeah. Oh, they've done that. They've given up 3 touchdowns in 4 games. So that's pretty good. That's a touchdown, less than a touchdown a game average. In Clemson, 12 in points, 6th in total yards, 16th passing, 5th in rushing. They've given up only 30 points themselves. Only Pitt has scored double digits on them, so we might see a defensive showcase. But then again, I said we're going to see an offensive showcase between Syracuse and Nebraska, and that only had 30 points, and Air Force scored 51 by themselves. That's what I think, and that's what you think too. Should think too. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.